Hi, romance readers. I am Liz Donatelli. Welcome to Reader Seeks Romance, the #1 romance novel talk show on YouTube. Historical romance author Amanda Collins joins me to chat about her Victorian-era second chance romance and kidnapping mystery, An Heiress's Guide to Deception and Desire. Amanda also discusses her Ladies' Guide series. She talks about writing romance mystery novels, and she plays a jolly round of Manda and Jane or Agatha. Enjoy, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hi, Manda. Welcome to Reader Seeks Romance.
Hey, Liz. Thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure. I am a fan.
Thank
A
you.
happy book birthday to you. Your historical romance mystery, An Heiress's Guide to Deception and Desire, is now out in the world. An Heiress's Guide to Deception and Desire is book 2 in your Ladies' Guide series. So
Right.
what is the overarching theme of the Ladies' Guide series?
The series is, it follows these two friends who met at a dinner party and who were started talking about true crime that was happening in London at the time, and realized that they shared some of the same attitudes toward misogyny in society, and how some of the people around them were shocked or looked down on women who were interested in crime, or that wasn't something that they should be paying attention to. And so they get together and they decide to start a column, and the name of the column is A Lady's Guide to Mischief and Mayhem. And so they write the column together, and the first book centers around Kate, who is the owner of a newspaper, and she owns the newspaper that they write the column for, and she meets and falls in love with a police detective who is investigating a crime that she's tangentially linked to. And then the second book follows Caro, who is her writing partner, and that's the book that's coming out today, and it's about Caro and her former fiance having to get together to find a missing actress. And so all of the books are going to follow somebody who is in their orbit. So it's either going to be Kate or Caro in the first two books, or their friends in the following books.
Right. I love the series. I love the world that you've created. I love the characters, the banter, everything is so on point. And you managed to put together so perfectly historical romance, historical mystery into one novel. And I love romance and mystery, but as of late, I've been reading just romance, and I kind of miss reading mystery. And that's why I enjoy your work, because I'm like, oh, I could read both at the same time. So it's so fulfilling to me as a reader. Where were you and what were you doing when the plot for book 2 took root in your mind?
I knew that it had to be Caro and Val working together. And part of the driving force behind this series is to show whether or not it was historically accurate for these specific women to be doing this at this time. I wanted it to be some sort of theme that involved toxic masculinity. And one of the biggest things in culture during the Victorian era was the theater, and this idea that women who went on the stage were basically, just by the fact of putting themselves out there in public like that, they were inviting men to come on to them. And it's not that, unfortunately, it's not that different from what happens now. with Hollywood. I wanted it to be something that was timely in that way, but also would give a way for them to work together to solve this crime. And it had to be something that involved both of them. Like Val had to have a reason besides just wanting to be close to Caro. And so I ended up with Effie, the actress, who is kidnapped and who is engaged to Val's cousin. And so they both have reasons to want to find her. He wants to clear his cousin's name and she wants to find her friend.
Amanda, you expertly blend romance and mystery into an entertaining novel. I feel like your work deserves a subgenre of its own. So I came up with a few ideas.
Oh, okay.
Historical romstery, historical romance terry, hist-rom-miss. How do you describe it as when someone says, oh, what genre is it? What do you say? Or do you have ideas in your mind of what you call it?
Well, it's published by the romance arm of Hachette. So I have to go with romance first, but I think of it as historical romantic suspense. So it's just like a romantic suspense, but it's historical. But it is kind of a weird hybrid. And when I was trying to sell, like back with my first couple of books, I got a couple of rejections from publishers who liked it, but they're like, we don't know how to sell it. Like, what is it? But over time, like, I've tried to write without a mystery element in it, and it's real boring. Like, there's just a lot of sitting around drinking tea. I've just ended up I do it and like let the publisher decide. I just kind of think of it as a hybrid, a mystery romance hybrid. But really, like, technically, I do think it's just historical romantic suspense.
Are you, Amanda, a time traveler or just a very good researcher?
Well, I'm not a time traveler.
Are you sure?
100%. No, I actually, in my past life, or in this life actually, but just a while ago, I was a librarian, and so I have done a lot of research. So I hope that no one uses my books to like take history tests or anything, because I take a lot of liberties.
Which liberties did you take? Which things did you kind of adjust a little bit?
One of the real things that I drew on for Caro in her cookbook writing was Mrs. Beeton. There was Mrs. Beeton's book of household management that was like a bestseller during the Victorian times. And she was basically like the Martha Stewart of the 19th century. I really don't think that a middle-class young lady would be allowed to write cookbooks. I just don't.
Okay. Yeah.
She would have to have like completely hidden it from her family. Like, there were novel writers, but pretty much if they didn't need the income, she wouldn't have had a need to do it.
Right. In your letter from the author, in the back of An Heiress's Guide to Deception and Desire, you state that the inspirations for all of your books are the witty banter of Jane Austen and the intricately crafted whodunits of Agatha Christie. So I've created a fun segment entitled Co-author a Novel.
I'm sorry, Jane. I'm gonna have to say Agatha, because I can do the romance part and Agatha can do the mystery part.
Okay. Binge watch Netflix shows.
I feel like I would just spend a lot of time with either one of them explaining what Netflix is. I would be interested to see what Jane had to say about Downton Abbey.
Yes.
Or Bridgerton. She would lose her mind.
Who would you go shopping with at Macy's?
I think Jane might be fun. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure she would find like modern fashion more comfortable than her Regency era gowns.
Right. Right.
And not having to wear a hat or gloves.
Yeah.
Like, that would be pretty liberating. She would enjoy that.
Who would you eat in a pizzeria with?
Either one of them seemed very pizza-ish.
Yeah. I thought pizza would put an interesting spin on this scenario.
I mean, I love pizza. So introducing either one of them would be fun. Probably Agatha.
Okay.
I feel like she would be able to appreciate pizza more. I don't know why, but
Who would you consult on career advice?
Agatha. She wrote a gazillion books. Like, Jane only had like, what, 8, 9? I could be wrong. I'm not a very good Jane mind if I don't know the full number of her books. There weren't that many. She didn't really, like, a lot of hers didn't even get published until after she died. So, like, she just didn't have as much business savvy.
Right. Who would you consult on relationship advice?
Agatha would be able to tell me, like, if he was likely to be a murderer. But Jane would be able to tell me if he was likely to, have fathered a child years before and like broken somebody's heart, or tried to seduce a 16-year-old, or So she would. Either one of them would be good, but I guess I would rather not be murdered. So Agatha.
I love hearing your thought process on each because that's gold. I love it.
Just not getting murdered that's my number one goal.
Didn't Agatha disappear? There was a big thing for a while.
She did.
She was missing, and
yeah, I can't remember how long it was for. Like maybe 2 weeks. She just went missing, and they don't know what happened. And
right.
There's like a movie on Netflix about it, like that kind of posits that while she was gone, she like solved a mystery.
Is it a documentary or is it?
No, it's like a film. Yeah.
Oh,
it was good. It was entertaining. Yeah, it was really fun.
She could have been abducted by aliens.
I mean, anything could have happened. Maybe she went back in time and visited Jane Austen.
Now that's a novel. That's a novel to write. Agatha Christie goes back in time, meets up with Jane Austen, and they solve mysteries together.
They solve mysteries together.
Well,
they write a novel together that is a romance mystery hybrid.
Oh, this could go deep, Manda. This could go deep. You're the one to write it.
Let's do it. Wait until I tell my agent.
You're like, okay, so Liz and I came up with this. They're like, well, who's Liz? That's for later. I'll tell you who Liz is later. But we decided.
Immaterial.
It's not important. This is brilliant. This is going to be the next big thing.
On. Got it. Could hit it big. You and me.
Amanda, you are a delight. I've loved talking with you. Thank you again for joining me here on Reader Seeks Romance.
I've had so much fun. Thank you for having me. Just super fun. Great questions. Keep up the good work.